Okay, good morning. It's 9 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order. You have the agenda in front of you. Any,
Somewhere under new, I got updates on the agribusiness park.
okay,
Other than that, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as
Second.
it is.
I have a motion to approve the agenda, with an update on the agribusiness park to be done in new business. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Is that new business or old business?
New business.
new business. Betty, if you would read the minutes of the September, 25th meeting,
18th.
September 25th meeting.
Correct.
I thought you said that.
Yeah, sorry, Phil.
No, here, this is the
Oh, we have it down there. Okay, gotcha.
okay, September 25th, 2023. Chairman Cluse called the regular meeting of the Wright County Board of Supervisors to order at 9 a.m. Members present were Cluse, Rasmussen, and Helgable. Motion by Rasmussen, seconded by Helgable to approve the tentative agenda with one addition of the Ag Park lease agreement. And carries. Minutes of the previous regular meeting of September 18th, 2023 were read and approved. Approved claims for payment. Reviewed resolution 2023-34, directing the filing of certification of debt in the agribusiness urban renewal area. There was then a motion by Rasmussen, seconded by Helgable to approve resolution 2023-34. By roll call vote, ayes, Rasmussen, Helgable, and Cluse, nays, none. Resolution 2023-34 duly passes and reads as follows. And there you can see the full resolution in its entirety. And the only addition this year, this 22-23 year, was the tax rebate of $548,790 to Prestige. Reviewed resolution 2023-35, directing the filing of certification of debt in the nutrient urban renewal areas. A motion by Helgebold, seconded by Rasmussen to approve resolution 2023-35 by roll call vote, ayes, Rasmussen, Helgebold, and Cluse, nays, none. Resolution 2023-34 duly passes and reads as follows. And that addition is the, and for 22-23 was interest paid on the loan of $15,200, reduction of debt for a special assessment of payment from Renutrients of $15,000, and the 50% rebate of taxes of $35,464.30.
Betty, that would, change that 34 to 35 in the passes.
Oh.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. Okay, so then, reviewed resolution 2023-36, authorizing adoption of policies and procedures regarding municipal securities disclosure. Motion by Rasmussen, seconded by Helgebold, to approve resolution 2023-36 by roll call vote, ayes, Rasmussen, Helgebold, and Cluse, nays, none. Resolution 2023-36 duly passes and reads as follows. And there you can see that resolution in its entirety. Reviewed information presented by County Auditor on the annual urban renewal report that is to be filed online with Legislative Service Agency. Wright County currently has 3 urban renewal areas in the county with outstanding TIF obligations of $11,788,397. Motion by Cluse, seconded by Rasmussen to approve the urban renewal report and have the auditor file. Motion carries. Reviewed the letter of consent with the intended sale of 35% of the equity of and debt of Prestige Foods of Iowa LLC to Whole Stone Farms 2 LLC. Prestige company name will stay the same. Whole Stone Farms 2 is a company out of Fremont, Nebraska. Motion by Helgebold, second by Cluse to approve the letter of consent per the development agreement and have the chairman sign. Motion carries. Adam Clemens, Wright County Engineer, updated the board on secondary road projects. Blades were back out covering routes to keep up with the harvest operations. Crews were also out sealing the Gulf Blacktop. Truck crews will be preparing for brush cutting and will go township by township. And they also help with the hauling fill for the bridge number 137 on 190th Street. And the bridge is now open. The bridge on R59 south of Galt is open to traffic on September 22nd, 2023. Clemens said that the C-70 bridge by Woolstock was let last week. The project was estimated to cost $1.5 million and the low bid was $1,252,888.15 from Godberson Smith Construction Company. There is money available from the city of Woolstock via our state funds for about $1 million for this bridge crossing Eagle Creek. There was then a motion by Rasmussen, seconded by Clues to approve resolution 2023-37 by roll call vote, ayes, Clues, Rasmussen, and Held nays none. Resolution 2023-37 duly passes and reads as follows. And that was the awarding of the contract for the project. Old business update on the agribusiness park. Rasmussen discussed with Christensen's an amount of alfalfa acres that they're at the agribusiness park. They stated that there are 54 acres of alfalfa. It was suggested to set the cash rent at $232 per acre based on the ISU cash rental rate survey summary for North Central District number 2 for 2024 crop and could change each year using the same method. It would be a 3-year lease agreement with mowing of the ditch and maintenance of the weed control on the fence lines. Clues will work with the county attorney to write up the agreement. Motion by Helgevold, seconded by Rasmussen to go into closed session pursuant to Iowa Code Chapter 21.51J to discuss the purchase or sale of a particular real estate only where premature disclosure could reasonably expected to increase the governmental body would have to pay for that property or reduce the price the governmental body would receive for the property. By roll call vote, ayes, Helgevold, Rasmussen, Clues, nays none. Yeah, they went into closed session. Motion by Rasmussen, seconded by Helgevold to come out of closed session at 10:21 a.m. There was no action taken in open session due to the closed session. Heard updates on meetings. Motion by Helgevold, seconded by Rasmussen to adjourn the meeting. Motion carries.
Any additions or corrections other than the ones previously mentioned? Hearing none, they'll stand approved as corrected. Claims, there were 4 signatures needed, I think, those go around.
Yep, they're done.
Very good. Open forum for public input. Leroy, did you have anything?
Yeah, I got 2 questions, well, not quite, on spending, not that I'm against the spending. More explanation or justification, I guess you could say, that's all. First one, this is from August. Askelson testing, $1,800.
Soil testing on the Tice farm.
Pardon?
Soil testing on the Tice farm, so we can have a baseline of where we started before we started using cover crops and requiring regenerative agriculture practices.
Okay, fine. Solutions, support maintenance, 16,000.
So that's our software that we use for all of our accounting and real estate. And we do annual support. And I think that total annual support, that must have been just one section of it, because secondary roads uses it. I think the total is 26,000 total.
Yeah.
So that must have been just one section of it for support.
And TAC 10, 19,000.
That's our law enforcement software,
Pardon?
our law enforcement software throughout the whole county.
Okay, and Ehlers and Cooney Summit Carbon, 17,000.
Yeah, this is for, Fallers and Cooney are representing us. We split that bill with 6 other counties, 7 other, 6.
7 or 8, yeah.
6 or 7 other counties. They are the ones representing us down at the Summit Carbon Solution hearings.
Okay, good. Calhoun Burns Bridge Inspection, 2,000. Not to put back on Adam, but can't you inspect the bridges?
So federally, I cannot. So if it's federal inspected bridges, you have to go through probably about a 3-week class and then work underneath a licensed bridge inspector. So we've been having them do our bridge inspection for many, many years.
Okay. You must have some drywall service for 21,000. What building was that? So else says Grant Sevy.
That was our building,
Those are rough.
the roof on the shed that we had multiple complaints on.
Oh, this is on count, what I would describe as On the east side of County K, I would call it the old maintenance shed, of the county building.
North of the sheriff's department.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's all right.
Roof's been bad for a long
Yeah,
time.
the roof was redone.
Back just says drywall, that's what it is.
Well,
This is company called Sebi Drive.
Yeah.
Company, okay. Eagle Grove ambulance EMS 21,000 and ISH Belmont EMS 10,000. You're.
So there's, and I believe that's out of a separate fund, the EMS fund.
Is it emergency medical service?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, and that's, the 10,000 we pay Iowa Specialty Hospital for Ryan Jensen to be the director of the EMS services for ambulances.
It's part of that 65, it's part of the ambulance tax.
Okay. Schneider Geospar service 12,000.
Snyder would be,
That would be our beacon.
oh, it is, okay.
Our,
Yeah.
yeah.
The guy in software, something different, I'm not here for that.
It's a software program that the assessor uses.
Okay, software, okay. And maybe under drainage administration, the Wright County Treasurer assessment prep 2,000. You pay one department for the other.
I think that was the tax, was that tax statements?
That was the setting out of the drainage statement, postage and envelopes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
and then Jill Snyder. Their web posting was been the same thing then. And the last one, I didn't realize that the county owned a hog. Because if it break its leg at vet bill, because it's got hog repair, $143. I'm joking. You gotta say hog repair. though. Is that a bush hog or something?
I'll bet so.
Oh, yeah.
Got a piece of
Bush
equipment,
hog
yeah.
repair.
Okay, so you don't know. what it is.
No,
No, sir.
Did it say, who was it made out to, the bill?
It just says hog repair.
To.
Who's the vendor?
All Burns machine,
Yes, it was the 3-point attachment on the brush hog, the well throw, so we had it repaired.
okay, just.
We got it, its legs fixed, it's okay.
I'll get her leg fixed for that price.
Any others, anyone online? I see no comments or anything in the chat. Okay, moving on to item number 6. Review and act on tax suspension in tax district 510 Dows Corporation, eligibility through Social Security Administration.
So when people are eligible for Medicare and Social Security, and they don't have, and maybe like they're in their nursing home, they're unable to pay their property taxes, it can be suspended.
Okay,
And, I think it's Iowa code. I can't remember what the Iowa code section is, but they meet the eligibility, and this person in Dows meets that eligibility.
good.
but it's not taken away, eventually it'll be collected.
Yeah, when the property is sold, or if the property is ever sold, then
Sure.
Peggy will collect.
Maybe captured.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second,
I have a motion and a second to, approve the tax suspension in tax district 510 Dows Corporation, for the eligibility through the Social Security Administration. All those in favor say aye.
aye,
Aye, motion carried. Item number 7, resolution 2023-38, Wright County Treasurer Depository Resolution.
Okay, there's our current one and a copy of the new one. That I. So basically what's happening is we have a little bit of a, ACH payments online have become increasingly popular. And so we are overrunning First Citizens with those ACH deposits. So I need to increase First Citizens a little bit, and there's a couple other changes I thought, since we were changing one, we could look at all of them. You'll see the actual balance in those accounts are handwritten in as of Friday. And then you'll see off to the right what the current interest rate is as of Friday as well.
I like the interest rate
Yeah.
on the Iowa Public Agency Investment Trust,
Yeah. There.
5.1%.
Is that on, just on the one?
Oh, I know. Here. Actually, yeah, Mike, I think. No, here you go.
Iowa Public, we're going up from 1 million to 10 million. Any reason on that one or?
5.1%.
Yeah, 5%.
Okay.
And honestly, they're quite easy to move money as the overflow folder,
Okay.
because I can do it electronically instead of writing a check and writing it to that thing.
Gotcha.
And then I can move it back. All I need is a day to move it back.
Okay.
So,
Any other questions?
Yeah, but
So, I guess, for the public, resolution 2023-38, resolution naming depositories. This is a resolution that allows us to go up to our maximum deposits in various banks. First Citizen Bank in Mason City, we would be increasing it from 12 million to 15 million. First State Bank in Webster City, we would be increasing or keeping it the same at 5 million. First State Bank in Eagle Grove, the Clarion office, 5 million remaining the same. First State Bank in Belmont, remains the same at 1.5 million. United Bank and Trust, in the Dow's location, it's at Sheffield is their home base, remains at $100,000. Greenbelt Bank and Trust in Belmont, remains at $3 million. And Iowa Public Agency Investment Trust in West Des Moines, increases from 1 million to 10 million. Again, they offer us 5.1% interest. And that trust is open only to public agencies, correct?
yeah, it was created under a 28E agreement, I think back in the 80s.
Very good. Is there a motion?
so
I'll
moved.
make second.
I have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2023-38. Resolution naming depositories by roll call vote. Carl,
Aye.
Rick,
Aye.
Dean, aye. Motion carried.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll take a copy of this, Betty, and then give you the original.
I think he's gonna sign two right now.
Oh,
Just a
I only
second.
had one.
That's all.
Oh, he's signing. Okay.
And yeah, you can have that one, I'll take that one back.
No.
He's done it.
Okay. Perfect. That'll work. Right,
You're done.
Okay, item number 8, review and act on a letter of support for the Heart of Iowa Regional Trust Housing. Let me start over. Review and act on a letter of support for the Heart of Iowa Regional Housing Trust Fund of $14,303 and have the chairman sign. Heart of Iowa Regional Housing Trust Fund regarding Wright County's financial contribution for fiscal year 2024. In support of the Heart of Iowa Regional Housing Trust Fund agrees to commit up to $14,303 for the matching requirements in applying for the 2024 fiscal year funds through the Iowa Finance Authority. Said matching funds should only be utilized in Wright County.
And these go, you want to explain what the funds go
You got
to?
it. Just as a reminder, the Heart of Iowa is a six-county collaboration, which is the Midas territory. The total award to the territory was $413,770. There's a 23% match required on that money. It's based on per capita of each county along with expenses. So I'm asking the county to commit to the $14,303 as we continue to go out to solicit private donations.
I'll make a motion to approve.
So as private donations increase the amount that the county
It would decrease the county.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Sorry.
I have a motion and a second to approve the letter of support for the Heart of Iowa Regional Housing Trust Fund, committing us to $14,303. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Nine 15, sorry, Ryan, we're a little late. Ryan Smith with Snyder. With Snyder Geospatial to demo, permitting system through Beacon.
Ready for me?
Yes, sir.
I'll request a 1-minute recess.
Ab-
Set up.
Absolutely. You got time, and there is, you can plug in here if you need to. Or all the-
Okay. Yep, I think I'll just, I got it with Zoom.
Okay.
In terms of the microphone.
We're on the owl, so
Okay, we're good.
yes, sir.
What's that?
I don't know. I do know that.
Set up here.
So I guess just as an introduction, Ryan, what you're demoing today is a permitting system that, potentially the county could use for, drainage repair work, also for work in the right of way,
Multitude of items. I mean,
right.
your alcohol, those permits,
P&Z.
fireworks permits, P and Z, drainage district, sanitarian, any permits that are through the county or applications through the county can be used through his
Right.
software, correct, Brian?
Yes, that is
I
correct.
mean, you went even down to like, what was the one county that, like dog, something with the dog permit or permits or
Yeah.
something like that, so,
Hold on one
do they
second.
apply for that?
Bear with me. I gotta make sure I'm sharing my screen correctly.
It was up there.
Yeah, but when I tried to switch it, paused it. I'll do this, so I know it'll go to this.
There you go.
I'm gonna see something.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that works for now. Okay. All right, I apologize for the limp, whatever. I got a bug bite on Monday and got really bad. I go to the ER on Friday,
Nice.
Saturday, so. But yeah, it's fun to turn 40, thanks.
You gotta try 60.
You know, like I was complaining to ER people and it's like, doesn't even better. Long story short, it felt like on Saturday night that someone took a baseball bat to my leg and it was during the Iowa game, so I'm like, no one's gonna be at the hospital. There you go.
And they have to.
Did you wanna do official introduction or how do you wanna do this?
However you would normally do your presentation.
Let's do an official introduction, just, you know, tell everyone how we got here and then who I am.
Yeah, so Ryan, we were discussing online permitting, kind of the reason why we went to talk with Geospatial Snyder at ISAC. So, and Ryan had talked to us about this prior, we just didn't. Or actually, it was mainly Jeremy that was talking with Ryan about his permits through planning and zoning,
Sure.
and then Jeremy needs assistance from other departments, because he can't wholly take the cost in the future of that, so.
Okay.
So I work here, so we invited Ryan to a board meeting. Jeremy and I did a quick demo of what secondary roads could use for it. And then he said, hey, maybe this would be a good thing to talk to the board about, inviting more departments into this.
Absolutely, and so we have, our drainage, clerk here.
Oh, yeah, you stay here.
Yes, because she will probably have some very specific questions about capabilities.
Yep.
And also the county sanitarium is here. And I don't know if it's something that conservation could use, no?
Not really.
Okay, all right,
There's a few permits, but
pardon me?
Sheriff and.
Sheriff, maybe?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get into a deeper dive
Okay.
if you want. More, I guess I'll start with just saying, how much time do you want to allow me? I know this is a.
Rick will give you
supervisory
about 5 minutes.
You got till 4:00.
No,
If you buy dinner.
If it's 5 minutes, I'll just go to the last page and
No.
that's how much it is.
no,
All right, so once again, my name's Ryan Smith. I work for Schneider Geospatial and I mean, this is a good way. I've been pestering Jeremy for a good, what, 2 years or so. And the funny thing is once we, so our company, does the Beacon website. So if you're familiar with Beacon at all, that's who we are. So, really how this started is, this actually started with an idea up in Minnesota, of all places in Morrison County, Minnesota, where they were tired of people printing out the Beacon report and bringing it in on the table and just writing it right from there. And the IT guy, GIS guy, said there's gotta be a better way to do this. They got a grant for 50 grand to kind of get it going, probably about 16 years ago. And that really is what started it, which was, they were like, you have all the data, why can't we just automatically transfer it to start a permit? And the main thing was, it was time at the desk. It was the factor that your vendors, or contractors in the area were having to leave the job site and come down to the courthouse or city hall, whatever it might be, to fill out a form, like the same thing over and over again, fill out that $25 check. And so those are some of the, and then also just mistakes. I always talk, I've done a couple updates, other than West Des Moines to my house. I have no clue what my parcel ID number is. But who does is my, is the assessor, or the Beacon website. Another nice factor too is you can have your contractor apply for a permit on your behalf as well through this program. So we've seen that as very popular. So what we've actually seen is actually permits increase, if that makes sense. Obviously during COVID, let's just get out there. During the COVID era, it just skyrocketed because you were having limited hours, visit times, scheduling, and it was easier just to apply online. And that's where we really saw the idea, really take on. So now we're in about 18 or 19 counties currently in Iowa. So really some of the attraction to it is it's simple. It's very affordable, it's easy to use, it's unlimited use in your organization. And what I mean by that is, everyone in the room would have access to the website, or program a different way. If you're a supervisor, maybe you just want to have a view only right to maybe check on some executive style reports. Or you can actually narrow it down to maybe, IT maybe needs a little bit more permissions to get in there. So it really just kind of depends on how you want to do it. And then, of course, as I just stated, it integrates with your data. So everything that's on Beacon, that updates on a nightly basis, for those of you who don't know that. And the reason why that's so important is then the owner information, when you're applying for a permit, is the same thing that the county is looking at. And I always like to just throw this up there. That's what Adam was kind of saying. I think it's in there somewhere, the dog. I don't know, maybe it's not on this one. But this is just a running list. I probably need to update it. But when I first started to promote this program, probably about 5 or 6 years ago, it was go talk to planning and zoning, right? Let's do building permits. Let's just start there. And then what you start to learn is like, hey, can we use it for this? Can we use it for that? And really what we start to see too is, sorry to pick on you here, Jeremy, but zoning in Iowa traditionally does not have big budgets. It's just the way it works. This is true. And so it's not, I'm not picking on anyone in the room, it's just, that's the way it works in Iowa. And so what we really found out was the value was getting environmental health involved, engineers involved, sheriff's department. And just, it's more of that, it's a full county tool. It's not just one specific department. And so that's why I just highlighted a few more, just because these are the ones that Adam and I chatted about. And I will show you a quick live demo of Boone County, just to kind of show you the one that we were talking about. So, but a wide range, probably the most obscure one I always joke about is Burlington, or not Burlington, West Burlington, wanted to use it for garage sales. They wanted to make people sign up for garage sales because they said their city was turning into a flea market every weekend. And so they wanted to limit the number of, they didn't want to charge anyone, they just wanted to limit the number of garage sales. So, so it's damage assessment, the ratio, here's a form, here's a place to upload your photos, here's the damage, what's your address, thank you, we'll make a note of it. So, it's kind of more of the same. So I'm gonna kind of skip, I'm gonna fly through some of these screenshots just for the sake of it. I do not like PowerPoints.
Okay.
So bear with me. But here is a good one, but this is more how the workflow looks. It's a simple drag and drop system. There's a ton of training up front in that first year, okay? If you signed tomorrow, we're not gonna have a permit ready for you in 2 days. That's just the reality of it. It usually takes a good, what we always say is like do 4 to 8 weeks to get that first one up and running, whichever the most popular one, whether it be an entrance permit, or, you know, it's just whatever, you know, whichever one you think is the most popular, septic. So anyway, so what we see though is a lot of work in that first 6 months. That's just the reality of it, because you gotta build it out and everything. There's multiple ways to apply for a permit, you know, through your website. I want to point out in the top left-hand corner, you can do it through your Beacon site. Marion County came up with that idea. Her permits tripled. From her total number of permits, her online permits tripled. She went from having about 20 to 30% to more than 85%, she said, of her permits now today are done through this website. And she said she just gets a few random walk-ins. And it's just because of people who don't know of the program yet. It's very simple. You create an account, you select your permit, identify your property similar to a Beacon search. It interfaces with your CAMA, your GIS, and your tax, your owner information. You select the property. It takes you through this workflow here. I want to point out, this is a very important slide here. So it takes you through that path. And this by far is the most popular button with our contractors, save and exit. When we first started it, it was an all or nothing. Like once you start, you got to go through it. And that was by far the most popular addition. It was probably the simplest, but the ability to be able to start an application, you get interrupted, something happens, you can just hit that save and exit button, and then you can continue it later that day, later that night. Or if you just have a question that you need to get answered. And then also too, there's these little symbols, these little beacon symbols. That actually auto populates from Beacon into the permit. So what I'm saying is you don't even have to type anything, it's just there as soon as you have it. And then also there's radio buttons you see at the bottom, yes, no questions.
So those, the buttons, the ones on the left, do they take you to I mean, those are the steps that I need to follow.
This is the journey.
Okay, right, so once I've completed something, it automatically moves down to the next item.
Yeah, so you would hit next right there.
Okay.
And then as you're kind of going through, it takes you through that path and you can kind of see that path, you know, like where you get to the fee section, submit, map sketch, that kind of.
But you can't hit next until you've completed the section that you're in.
That's a good point. You can actually have required fields as well.
Okay.
So if you hit next and you know, you're like, no, I'm not giving my phone number, whatever. It won't let you go to the next step. And you can pick and choose how you want to do that as well. Good question. But then also too, I want to put on those radio questions or the radio, you know, like the yes, no answer. What's neat is what we can learn too, is that once you're applying for one permit, usually the applicant doesn't realize they're usually having to apply for 1 or 2 other permits as well throughout the workflow. So what it does is that we've actually built in this integration to where, are you doing a building permit? Okay, is this a new build? Yes or no? Yes. Do you have a driveway permit? You know, those kind of things. So it takes you through that journey. So you can go 1A and then it'll take you to step 1B. But if you hit no, you know, it might just take you straight over to step 2.
Okay. Makes sense.
The sketch. This is another one. When I went to Shelby County about 6 or 7 years ago, I said, hey, can you show me some of what your permits look like? And he was getting out literal bar napkins and random scratched pieces of paper. I go, that's in your file? He goes, yeah, that's official. So it's more about trying to get everything, just do a better job of trying to describe what you're trying to do. When you're just trying to handwrite it, you know, sometimes your garage can be 4 times the size of your house sketch. So what we're trying to do is just more kind of paint that picture. There's measuring tools. You can put text, you can upload photos, AutoCAD files, anything maybe related to an attorney. Just any kind of documents, you can upload these files within that. Also too, you can have people register as an official contractor, or you can actually force them to say, hey, we are no longer accepting permits from you unless you register through our system. This is nice for communication, or if you need to send out a mass email or mass communication using mailers, whatever it might be, of, you know, fees are changing, the board did this, you know, so on.
Well, we also require certificate of liability from each
Yeah,
contractor. So they would be able to submit that and they'd be a registered contractor.
Okay.
And this isn't Marshall County, Iowa, but Marshall County, Indiana, even like made a form, like an auto form where we actually took that information and put it into one of their official documents, you know, with the seal and everything in the background. They were actually a little bit more hardcore. They said, as of this date, we are no longer accepting any applications unless you're registered. And they had like over 500 contractors sign on, because it took 2 minutes. So it's just a nice way to kind of help out with communication, as well too. And then also that, just comments I've heard too, it's, if it's a contractor that the county approves, that gives you, the citizen, maybe a little bit more confidence in who that contractor is. Versus, we all went through the derecho one way or another, or we had a lot of randoms coming through. And so this would be maybe a good way to kind of, verify, if these people are legit. Shopping cart, I heard someone talk about it earlier. She's not here. Is the treasurer still here?
No.
Okay. We have a program embedded in with it where permit's $100. The total permit is like 101, let's just say. That company takes the dollar, you guys get your $100. And automated workflow notifications galore. Whatever you want to do, we can do. What's nice is you don't have to live and breathe in the program itself. You can actually have it set up to where you get notified of emails when something happens. When Tony gets, when there's something that's new, a building permit, and the assessor needs to be notified, she'll just get an email just saying a new permit has been approved or completed. No longer do you have to actually physically move pieces of paper from one person to the next. So it's really nice. So. More of the same, just kind of more just showing some of those print templates that are very popular. And then also dashboards as well. I talked about how everyone has a username if they so choose. What's nice about this is the dashboards is that you can go in, you can see what permits you're waiting on. If there's a specific piece of property that has had 5 applications and been denied repeatedly, that's something that you can look up there. Or just permits that are waiting on me, waiting on my team. So it would have all that history there, which is nice. Or just on the mapping side, you can actually see where those permits are located as well. That's very popular with the complaints module. Yeah. Supervisors love the complaint module. Yeah.
So is that, if you apply for a specific permit, it automatically notifies planning and zoning, or notifies. I like the idea of when you're building a house, you have septic and a well, so then it automatically gets. Cause invariably, if I get the call
Well,
first,
then
they want a septic because they're building a new house.
And then if I approve a permit, then it would flag Tony that the permit was approved.
Yeah.
Here's a neat part too, glad I brought that up, is that you can have people notified at any step in that process. It doesn't have to wait until it's completed. Because we've had some where they start a permit and then they maybe get to the payment window. It's not that they don't want to pay, maybe they just, could have found a card or, checking. But that allows, if you have it set up right, that allows a person from the county to go, hey, I noticed you started a permit X amount of days ago. This is going to be automatically voided, after X amount of days, do you need help? Do you have any questions? Sometimes it might just be, just looking around, poking around, that kind of thing. So yeah.
Does it identify who's filling out the permit, whether it's the homeowner or the contractor?
It literally has that question where it says, are you the homeowner? Are you the contractor? Are you landowner? Actually, and I'll show that one in a Boone example. Or the, I always give the example, my grandparents are 93 and 88 respectively. They're not using this program.
Right.
But they're gonna bring their grandkids. They've been doing a lot of tiling projects, so my brother and I have been the ones doing all the paperwork. I love the fact that my grandpa's 93, a farmer, and he's still looking to improve his land. Please, let's keep them going. Also too, the mobile compatibility. I took these screenshots with my actual phone, just to kind of show you some examples of what it looks like on the phone. You're gonna be out in the field most of the time doing inspections. You can stand the right with the applicant and go, yes, no, yes, here's what I'm looking at, okay, submit. Did you get the email? Yep, just got the email. And so it just helps out with communication. Kind of a little bit more of the same here, so I'm gonna kind of skip through these inspections dashboard. Then there's a lot of reporting tools that you can put out there as well. Every single item in a permit, think of it as a column in an Excel sheet. So there's a lot you can do with it. We've had some that'll have, 300-400 columns because of each and every little item. But there's ways to make custom reports from a supervisor point of view, from a treasurer point of view. That's the big one because they want to know where's the money coming from? What permit is it for? Which department? Those sorts of things. So we have a really good relationship with our payment vendor that we work with, called Certified Payments is the name of the company. If you already work with one, we'll work with that one as well, but I know there's been a lot of turnover with payment processing in Iowa lately.
Is there a way to migrate in like a tech transfer inspection? DNR has a site that all inspectors now enter that data, then I get an email that there's one complete, then I have to approve that. Is there a way to migrate that in there or tag it? Because I'll get 4 phone calls, 4 or 5 from the realtor, the lawyer, the homeowner, the buyer, the whatever, all looking for the same piece of paper 2 minutes before they close.
Is it coming from the state? You said it's a doc.
Iowa DNR has be nice if you could just hit it, migrate it. I don't know if it matters or not.
I don't like to make promises I can't keep. I'm not just going to say yes. I would have to. Well, can you stick around after we can figure it out? If it's something on the DNR page that we can export, like an Excel file of some type, we can somehow connect. It shouldn't.
I can forward you one.
Yeah, just
Card,
an
I'll
example.
forward you. You can
Okay.
play with it.
Yep.
Or I think,
For all I know, one of our clients are already doing it and they've just never told me. That's what I'm getting at. So
it's because you can add information,
exactly.
so I just need to be able to break it down.
Yep, it's more about how you want that done, if it's an autofill or, you know, how you want to do it.
Maybe just me doing it.
Good question. I just don't, yeah, there's a lot of talk of always, hey, can we bring this in from DNR? We, you know, that kind of thing. I know we won't push stuff to the DNR. I do know that part.
They don't want it.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so this is an actual live site. I'm gonna rip through any questions before I move to a quick live demo? Does this usually silence is really good or really bad? One of the two.
Oh, it's fine, good, doing good.
Okay. All right. So this is Boone County and I'm gonna take a step back actually. Assuming you are all familiar with the beacon site, I will not bore you with that part.
No.
Okay, so I'm just going to type Smith. I'm one of my cousins. Okay, so in Boone County, I'm purposely picking a non-address. So I'm hoping this is ag. Okay, so beacon site, property report. We've got this button right here, apply for permit. I'm gonna go to apply for permit. They've actually organized it out and showing you which department, just in case you need to talk to someone about. And I apologize for the small font there. Make that a little bigger. Sorry there, Dean.
It's okay.
But so anyway, so this just it kind of outlines what that is.
Okay.
Boone, I kind of give them a hard time because they even have like some kind of golf cart rental on theirs as well. I don't ask questions, I just know that's something that they have to do. So, but I like to more show that that's the versatility. Any type of workflow or piece of paper, non-state piece of paper that the citizens need to fill out, you can use this. We have had it though to where, like, you know, looking in those guys' directions back there, is that sometimes we'll have pre-forms before they fill out the state form. Like a fireworks permit or something, just a simple, what's your name? What's the day you want to use, do fireworks show, you know, what's your address, and then here's a big text box describing what you're doing, and then that allows, they would get an email, then that would kind of initiate that conversation versus them not, you know, doing anything at all in terms of application. So when I would click on that, it's going to take me to this page here. I have the contacts on the right hand side, so I've already created a login. And so we have all these different types of applications. Everything from rezoning requests, and obviously it's going to be a little bit different county by county, depending on how your zoning works. Yep, so here's our dock space lease at Don Williams. Let's see, so I'm gonna do an entrance permit, I don't know if that's good.
So
Go ahead.
I just saw a homestead tax.
We could, but we've decided not to at this point. But yes, it is an option. So you could, anybody could go in and apply the same form all electronically and it would be done.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot, sorry.
No, that's okay.
Is the complaint health nuisance zoning,
Yeah,
is it, you have to put a name to it?
Right now.
that
If you had
is,
to create an account before you did it.
yeah, that-
Guessing that.
I guess the short answer is that's up to your county attorney. I mean, since I'm married to an attorney, I always like to use that one. It's really it's up to your leadership. So, every leadership has a slightly different definition on privacy or what they want to do. I know Jasper County was very enthusiastic about it because they were tired of getting comments on Facebook. You know, and they would rather have it shifted to this where we can document it and timestamp it. And then make sure nothing falls through the cracks, and then the next supervisor meeting, you know, you didn't respond. So it's all right there.
It is.
And it's sometimes it's as simple as putting a dot on the map and a big text box.
Okay.
All right, so. This is a fairly quick one that I'm going to go through. And I'm just going to zoom in to an ag parcel. You guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Didn't you pick a parcel at the beginning? when you
I
first
did, but I didn't click this because I already had it open. So if I click this, it would automatically take me to that
Okay.
parcel. I just wanted to ensure that it was working. All right, let's see. So now what I would do here is just click, and it's gonna highlight that parcel. And then I have this horizontal navigation part you guys can't see. Yeah. Okay, so looks familiar to the screenshots. Notice how it has those autofill. Just gonna put that number in there, put my work email. Then I'm gonna get a nasty email from them saying, please stop using our site to demo. This question, this exact question, is the applicant the owner of the property?
Good.
So in this case, I'm just going to hit yes. So now it's asking, is it a new or an extension? Now, I want to point out, this is not what you have to use, this is what Boone County chose.
No, I get it, yep.
But what I always like to point out is, what's nice is you don't have to start with a blank template, you can look at what the other counties are doing and kind of make it your own.
Okay.
So they do new entrance, and what I love about what they did here is they actually took screenshots and showed the person how to do this. So like, here's your line tool, here's your measure tool. And they give a screenshot of what it looks like, what
Okay.
they want.
Yep.
So now I'm gonna go down here, and I'm gonna go to the actual map. And then I'm going to use my measure tool. Then Adam will quickly deny this.
And then if you had a resolution or a ordinance that pertained to this, would there be a reference? Could you have a reference on there that it would take them to that so that they could read that ahead of time, or?
Like an entrance policy.
Yes,
They need to know.
Okay.
so. That's a good point. So I forgot, I guess I didn't bring that up. So anywhere along the flow, you'll see with a lot of our clients, they'll have random hyperlinks. That will take them to maybe a state ordinance, a county ordinance.
Okay.
And they'll usually attach a date to it, you know, just like, hey, as of
Yep.
this date,
Yep.
that kind of thing.
So currently with our entrance policy, we require a signature that you've got the.
Got the policy,
You're
right.
right. You wanna read it, or, you know, put it as
So you hit an accept.
you know,
This you can do a
under your
checkbox.
cup.
You can
You
do a
do a
checkbox.
checkbox, I have received this.
Right.
And also like too, you know, you can use points, you can add text, you can use this place by coordinates tool, where I can actually add a coordinate. So that's really nice. You know, just kind of, then you can, you know, it shows the coordinates down here.
Okay.
We had talked about that specifically. I put that in as a request the other day, just to make sure it's doing it. All right, going through, you know, valid values, 20, 30, 40. Well, we chose 30. So that's all that step is. What is the interest for? Let's just say a field. Describe other, you know, you can put the, you know, anything in the text. Adam, help me out here. Is this gravel?
Correct.
Maintenance road.
Yeah,
gravel?
gravel. Okay, any other comments?
No,
Oh, maintenance road.
Oh, it is?
No, I said, what is it?
Oh, that would be like your,
That'll be.
yeah, your dirt, yeah.
I wouldn't even.
The road I take my Jeep on.
They would still apply for an entrance on Level B.
So here's where I type my name. And then I sign. Just as good as the real one. It's got the date signed. I hit next.
Discard.
Boy, I don't know if I wanna
I was
go any
gonna say, I
further.
would just.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop. So this is the part where you just have to trust me. Or else I gotta call them on my way home and say, hey, please ignore that.
Please don't charge me.
Yeah. Actually, screw it. Let's do that. Okay, so I just submitted it. I will be calling them here in a few minutes. Yep. Oh, actually, this is cool. Oh, you didn't see it. The email just popped up saying a new entrance permit has been applied for. So that's pretty neat. I wish you could see it on my screen, but you can't. Okay, yeah, it's my screen decided to freeze. What's that button say? Save and exit? Okay. So the next part would be, fees is taking you through the next step. Let's go here. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Save and exit. Done and done. I'm going to discard that. Hopefully that worked.
and so then if there was a fee associated with that permit, then there would be a,
Debit card or credit card?
yeah, some way to charge.
Processing.
Yeah,
Okay.
I heard someone mention, or somebody ACH,
Right.
you can do the
All of it,
e-check and
okay.
all that stuff.
Okay,
We do not do that Schneider Geospatial because there's all these other certifications you have to get. So we went out to the marketplace and we have 2 or 3 preferred vendors that we work with. We can work with your current vendor, but there's an implementation cost.
Good.
I'm afraid it's easier just to go with ours because it's kind of embedded into the program already.
Good.
That. Oh, yeah, the cost, you know, that, right?
yeah, bottom line.
I was gonna say, it's free.
So I
wanted to find out why I couldn't afford it by myself.
I just want to show you this really quick.
75% loan,
Wow.
Really quick though.
There was a comment earlier about the budget.
I just did want to show you really quick what an example of, like, that email just popped up. So it has all the information, Jonathan Bullock, so it's consistent.
yeah.
So I fill this out Sunday night, I get an automatic notification. That means I know. What's neat is too, is all these permits you can set clocks to. So the clock starts, right? If you have a 30-day, a 60, whatever you want to do, which is very beneficial for everyone involved. Okay. Oh yeah, the press, I keep delaying.
One half of my budget.
Huh?
One half of my total budget.
Let's do, okay, this is a very simple screen, and then I shared with Adam a proposal. I apologize for not having a hard copy. But there's the numbers.
And is that number considering currently we pay for Beacon, so is this over and above, or we get a discount because we're currently a customer?
This is I'll start with the first question. This is a completely separate product.
Okay.
It works well with Beacon, but you don't need Beacon, vice versa for this. You can negotiate anything
I love it,
if you really want it.
I love it.
But usually I attach a time period to that
Okay,
discount.
Right.
Like, I'm not gonna give you a year to think about a discount.
okay,
So I have bosses too, so. But really what you're looking at is the one-time cost is $30,528. But actually, I wanna bring up a point. Do you have any, diesel flex hour agreeing with this?
Yes.
Okay, so not to steal your hours, but we have a flex, so we have this thing, it's just called flex hours, project hours, support hours, whatever you wanna call it. And what some counties have started to do is if they have any leftover hours, they can use it towards this program as well. If you did not have any flex hours, I'm going to recommend, so the annual software cost, that's locked in, so $7,932, that's an annual cost, that's the cost of the product. Setup is $3,500, that's the one-time cost. The annual flex hours, and I even specifically put it as a bullet point, this can always be adjusted. The reality is, like I said, there's a lot of work that first year. And then what we see is it kind of tapers down. It really just depends on how much your office, your staff, is able to use it and has time to use it. I mean, that can fluctuate with anything.
Are you saying the staff would be able to also reduce that cost of the setup because we can do our own setup?
On the flex hours, yes, on that 14,000 number.
Gotcha.
So what, the standard proposal that I give is what you're looking at right now.
So
So,
when I read that, I total those up and I come up with like $26,000
For the first year.
for the first year.
Yeah.
After that, it's just the flex hour.
It's the annual support, the annual software cost is every year.
Okay.
The flex hours, that 14,000 you see, we usually see that taper down in year 2 and year 3.
So because you're building everything out your first year.
Yeah, there's just, the reality is of this product, there's just a ton of work up front, and then you're just kind of babysitting it and tweaking it. And then because you already have some, and then also excluded that is like a basic support package, you know, there's just little tweaks you need to do. That just comes with the cost of the software costs.
Good.
But what I was bringing up was, sorry to do this, hope you don't mind. Because I don't know how many hours you have.
Well, I had 24, but I have a lot of cleanup, so I think I did 48 for this year.
Okay.
But normally I do 24 and it's about 3,000.
Okay, so my bigger point is what we've seen in other counties is we'll have these GIS flex hour agreements with 911. The assessor's office, the auditors, whatever it might be, and if there's any leftover hours, we want you to use them. So these hours can be used towards this product, so I'm trying to say.
So you just kind of, the 14,000 kind of estimate you think is.
That is the standard, yeah, and after having conversations with Adam, frankly, you probably don't need that much. I take a lot of pride in being very honest. But that's, 96 is a lot, but it really just depends on how many workflows you want to build and get going. If you want us to start with 10 workflows within the first 6 months, yeah, you're gonna need it. But if it's something that you want to just slowly build, and like Boone County's had theirs for 5 years. You know, they started out with the basics and they've slowly expanded it. So it really just depends on the speed and the urgency. All I guess it's saying.
And then the hours can be divided up
Between the department.
between all the departments, right?
Yeah, and for math purposes, I believe it's 146 an hour. I guess what I'm saying is some clients have 4 hours per month. This is an 8 hour per month.
So, obviously, before we made any decision, concerning this, I would want, the department heads individually to speak with you and those that I think would possibly utilize this to see if it, you know, what are the problems? I mean, specifically work orders for drainage. I mean, I see this as something good, but it's change, and change is always hard. So,
well, the one possible thing that you're gonna have coming down the pipeline is summit carbon or a CO2 pipeline.
Right.
This would handle that, where you would have, they would have to go in and apply for each crossing through this.
Right.
Instead of a paper, instead of, you know,
And everything's documented.
everything's documented, where they would have to actually apply for this.
And then the money we get for the permitting would help pay for this. Right?
That's usually the idea.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually, like my permits go back into the department, so it's probably not gonna make yours any more money, because you're already getting the fee, unless you're struggling getting.
Right.
It's a great tool though. I mean, and I think over time, people are gonna use it more and more and more. I mean,
Yeah.
at first it's gonna be a little bit.
And I agree with,
And the nice thing is too, there are surrounding counties that have it. So if you have contractors that work in multiple counties in the area, they already know how to use it.
unlike Courtney's, for our drainage, farmers that need tile fix in the drainage districts. Other than the younger ones, the older ones, I can't see them using it in a sense, other than coming up to see Courtney, get the paperwork signed. So it can get worked on,
My,
but in time it may change.
Yeah, in time it will change.
Right.
I mean, as the generations,
Yeah,
sure,
yeah.
it is definitely gonna
Cause
change.
My dad's 65. He's a farmer, he's not using this, but he knows how to check email and he's gonna hit the forward button and send it to my brother and I.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say.
that's like me, I'm not.
But that's okay, I'm okay with that.
You're not eliminating the other process.
No. And the
This
other
is in
thing,
addition to.
the other thing to bring up too is what we've noticed, actually at the courthouse itself. Is when people walk up, they just create a username, call it walk-ins. And it's quicker for them just to sit there and interview the applicant
I was just.
and go, what's your address, you know, dual screen. Okay, what are you trying to do? Type, yes, hit the print button, hand it to them, there you go, they've got their receipt. And you have it already documented within, the system.
So they come
Versus
in and
taking
do
the
a work
paper
order, you
and-
just do it right then, Courtney, it'll be in the system.
Yeah,
And
Cause you have
Make
to
it
help with the
easier.
work order anyway.
it'd make it easier for her to just do it right on the computer and print out.
And if, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't say too, it might be too late, some counties have used ARPA funding for this as well. But I don't know if I'm too late on that.
Right now, all of our ARPA money is
Allocated.
allocated. yes.
Don't look at him.
Yeah, I'm looking at you.
I wasn't trying to start that.
No, that's,
I want you to know that this qualifies,
Now, we'll discuss this later.
yeah.
okay, so, those numbers are good for,
For a while.
okay. Again, I want, you know, particularly the people that potentially I see as the big users of it, to have a personal conversation with
Yeah.
you and you to see the forms that they currently work with, the paper forms, and talk about how that,
What's,
could be a problem or it could be a solution.
what's the best way to get a mass list, like emails or should I just hand out my card? What should I do?
Yeah, a card to, Courtney,
Okay.
uh,
Yeah, we've already got it.
Sandy to Sandy.
Okay.
Do you see it, the use for this, Carol Steven?
I don't.
Okay, in your department, IT, no? You're a current user?
Yeah, Andy and I kind of brought this up to the department heads a year ago and
Okay.
nobody was interested.
Yeah.
So I have, at this time, I don't wanna do the online stuff, but possibly down the road.
I wanna point out though, with the assessor's office, they're mainly, just because they don't have a permit required, sometimes they're just a receiver of a permit, which helps out.
To let them know something's being built.
Yep.
Right now, he
Yes.
like
Yeah,
scans
cross-
them in and emails each
Yeah.
one. to
Or if someone starts a permit and doesn't finish it, that gives her a,
Heads up.
yeah, like, oh, hey, maybe I should go by 123 Main Street and
Yeah.
see what's going on.
Okay.
So,
And I think after maybe the conversations have been had with Ryan, maybe we do a work session with the board and then maybe can, if we wanna go ahead with this, if we think it's a good thing, how many permits each department may have, and maybe that's a separation of how much cost per department.
Okay. So, can those conversations be had in a 2-week time frame? That's too short of a time frame. Okay, so
I get paid to talk to you, so you tell me.
let's put it on the agenda, for 2 weeks from, today, so like 16th of October.
Would you need me to be present?
Uh,
I wouldn't think so.
Available online.
yeah, available
Okay.
online would be great.
But we might be doing the work session that day and may have questions.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll see, I just gotta look at my schedule.
I think a work session is needed just to figure out who,
Who's gonna use it? How
big-
much?
and who's gonna use it, how much, who maybe has the ability to help reduce that $14,000 cost. Cause I see our office being able to maybe make those, maybe with one or two, like, hey, help out with the workflow, and then we can take it from there, so.
That sounds good.
So you said work session on the 16th at 1:00?
I think that'd be great. Yeah.
Are we doing 1:00 in the evening? What else is on our agenda that day?
Matrix review.
The 16th.
Here you go. just-
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Matrix at 9.
Master matrix review
Okay.
for new construction.
So,
Like, oh,
Was it 11?
there's one,
Sure,
11.
make sure it's updated.
Let's do 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock.
And then if you want to, you can make, if we feel comfortable about, after these conversations, you could put an agenda item on there to maybe approve the proposal and have you guys do it, you know, act on, just to, or for formality sort of thing. If you don't want to approve it, you table it.
Well, and we can have the work session then and. You know,
And then I
very
can-
much.
For what it's worth, I have an online presentation at 10 AM on that day,
on what day?
16th. But I can make myself available.
So
that-
after 11 o'clock, you think?
I can make myself available, yeah. I mean, heck, I can even drive up after it.
Okay.
I just. That one's been on the calendar.
That'll be fine.
All right.
Okay, any other questions from the board?
No, sir.
No, very good job.
Prestigious auditor.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Ryan.
All right. Yeah, I didn't even talk about genealogy this time, but.
Woo-hoo.
Okay, item number 10, Adam Clemens, Wright County Engineer, update on secondary roads.
Thanks, Ed. That's fine.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Quick update, blades are out, obviously keeping up with harvest like they were last week. Trucks are still preparing for the brush cutting township by township. They also hauled the backfill to 137. They moved from the Galt blacktop because we were using so much cold flow on that, so we may go in a different direction with the contractor to finish that out. So we had them move to the Clarion Airport road on 210 here, so to get that done. They did some spot shouldering, Kim Spangler out of Eagle Grove, we put the shouldering machine on and did some spot shouldering where there was some drop offs that we haven't seen. Work orders, did not update that, but 11 were completed. As you can see in the back, the one I wanted to bring your attention to on the list, sorry, I did not update that. Was the BR 137 2023. We completed it and the entire cost for the materials and the equipment and the labor costs were in there. So 124,000 is what it cost totally.
For what is that?
That was the bridge 137, and that's gonna be on the bottom here under construction. So bridge 137 on 190th between Hancock and Ida was completed last week.
But no longer a bridge. Now,
No longer a bridge.
Culvert, it will come off of the bridge.
It will. Once we're completed with all of these bridges, we have one more to do this week. They'll start maybe backfill Thursday, Friday. And once that's done, I will bring a resolution to you guys to take it off of our bridge posting.
So 190th, then we don't have any bridges on there, right?
Zero, and 0 posted bridges or 200.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So 0 posted. It really changed the way the way when we walk back and back, it really changed Lake Township.
That's been
just
the
by
goal
doing
for
that.
a few years.
Yeah.
That area.
Yeah. So we have one more to do on a level B, but we're trying to fit in where that would be essential on the other, with the other ones.
Okay.
Also 140A started contract, demo last week. And then they also put the clean rock in for the base. And that's on 200 between Ida Avenue and Hancock.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Any questions for Adam?
Thank you.
Item number 11. Discuss county video for drainage district. What prompted this was, rather than me going out and walking the drainage ditches that we had brush, and tree control work done.
And weed control.
I asked Adam if they could, run the drone over it. They're working on getting hours on the drone and, so I asked them to do it, which prompted, of course, a bill to the drainage districts. A total bill of $2,014.91. Now that's divided between between 9 drainage districts, 2 of those with no charge. And roughly the highest costing one was $349.91, to have it flow.
These are the open ditches.
The open ditches. So now we have a record. We're sharing the file on Teams program. The issue is, what Courtney would like and what I would also like is the ability to be able to, when we review that, to when we see something there, or if when they're flying the drone, if they see something, the ability to drop a pin so that we've got a location. I mean, you can look at it because of the way the county's divided up in sections. You know, I can get you within the square mile just by looking at the drone, but we'd like to have it to where we pare it down even closer than that. Would like to have lat long. They're doing some talking on software that they have, and the possibility of maybe changing some software that the drone uses that would allow us to have those capabilities.
It'd be great for FEMA, things like that down the road, document damage.
Right. But again, I did not come to the board and bring this possible cost to the drainage districts before the board. And so that's what is generating this. We've got a bill that had not been approved by the trustees, that the owners of the land who will be paying this cost. As a trustee, I think that it's a worthwhile expense,
Well,
and it's a record that we have.
And if you could put those online, so I mean, if people wanna see their issues or see their drainage, because too many people are out of town owners now. I think it's a great
Yeah.
tool that they've got. But the pinpoint would be great for damage though, especially for Courtney and for locations.
Pat,
Yeah, go ahead.
can you pull up one of those videos just so that they can see what that looks like?
Would the goal be to do then all open ditches then, and just have records of them?
Eventually, yes. Our brush and weed control stuff is done. I think we're doing a 3-year rotation. Is that right, Courtney?
2-year.
2-year rotation. So, eventually that would be the goal, again, with, within reason on the costs. I don't want this to become a burden to the landowners, but again, it provides a record for us.
Colonel, you had mentioned this would be good for FEMA and stuff, and I'm not sure if you are aware, Phil, that previously did all of our FEMA footage and everything, has retired. So he will not be there for us as our project manager going forward for any other projects.
He helped us with all of the reports that needed to be filed.
Sorry, do you want me to share this so people on Zoom can see it?
Sure, yeah.
Go ahead and do that. I think you just uploaded it and we have made sure that.
Yeah, I asked him for
Okay,
16 and 11.
I know I checked on Friday and it was.
So this is, so up in the upper left, we put up BD9 starting north of Highway 3. So what it'll do is as we go around the corner, it stops, turns, goes around the corner. I noticed something on the north side where it kind of turned around. I'll have to check with Marcus to see why it did that. But this is a 45-minute video. And it takes approximately, I don't know, how long do you think that took to upload? It was, see, as he. 2.5 hours to upload that video to Teams.
This is the longest one so far.
Yes, yeah.
Why does it look like something drove down the middle?
They
Like,
did.
Something did,
That's it.
something did.
So that's an open ditch, but it's not really.
It's very shallow.
It's got a pipe underneath it and a bulkhead starts on the south
It's
side.
more of a swale.
Yeah, it's a swale. There's
oh,
a
yeah,
bulkhead
I
on
see
it.
it now.
That'd be a great resource
It's
to have.
actually a waterway right there,
Yeah.
for sure.
there's a lot of research that Marcus has to do, in identifying the crossings when we do cross a road of, is there power lines there? And, you know, clearing them, making sure that he's up high enough to clear them. Normally around the 75 to 100 foot mark is where we have to go up to, but we're also trying to get the gimbal to go down. I don't know why it did that,
Yeah.
so it's,
Is this your job?
Wanted to go home?
yes.
I do have to say that the first couple of videos that you guys uploaded, when you went up and over the power lines, you continued to fly straight as you were coming down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Compared to the last few where you
Yeah.
flew over, stopped, and then lowered it, I like that version better.
Yes, so, and we caught that too, so we actually had to put two waypoints very, very close together, because then it liked to adjust itself slowly down. Well, we can tell it like, hey, you have 10 feet to go down, you know? So this, when we do this, we're actually changing the gimbal as we come down. So it gets back to that normal view. As we go up, we change the gimbal so you still see what you're needing there. We develop all of the polylines in Google Earth. So the aerials could be off a little bit of where we're trying to click. So that's why maybe it's off to one side, but you're still getting most of the view.
Yeah. And again, you know, when is the best time to fly this? Is the best time to fly it early in the spring when the vegetation has been beat down by all the snow drifts and everything? Or is it, you know, these were shot in August, I think?
August and September, yeah.
Similar when they fly the flights for Beacon, they do it before the
vegetation.
yeah, before the leaves get on the trees.
Yeah.
I was gonna correct them.
Did you ever get hold of Desiree about the?
Anyway, so that is what it is.
I like
It
that.
might be well worth it.
Yeah. I think especially we can get the pinpoint to certain areas.
If
where
you
we-
wanted us to do kind of a before and after, like for brush cutting, like, so maybe we could help reduce your cost of brush cutting. Where like, hey, this one didn't need you to even go down it because there's no brush. Right?
Mhm.
So we can help reduce the cost of the idea that, hey, we just need a blanket brush cutting.
Keeps your
Well,
fingers on.
now you can say, hey, we know you only need to do these 4 in your next
Right.
item. And then that will reduce your costs on his part and then also our part, because we're not having to go back out and re-verify every single one that he was doing.
That I think would be beneficial because I've not seen a huge reduction from, you know, he went to every other year now and he does, what, I think north half, south half, or is it what, east and west? I can't
I'm not
remember.
sure, but I know he has changed over the years from brush and weed to brush and trees.
Yeah.
Which trees should be separate, so I've learned, over the last few discussions with Deb, the prior transfer. Say, he used to be previously, if you found an issue with trees, you would come in, report it, we would do a separate work order up on that. And then send that out to.
I'm envisioning like Dean and I had a conversation of another maybe view here where you can pause it, maybe bring up this view over here where the drone is just hovering above. You can see kind of an icon. You maybe hover above that and you can get your lat long information if need be. It would be really nice if the lat long was going with it, and we'll double check with that. As it flies, maybe the lat long would change with it. The item that you need to understand is where the video is pointing is not the lat long.
Right,
It's where the drone's at.
Right.
So you're going to be a little bit further away, you know, depending on the gimbal angle.
Right.
But you're close.
yeah, it gets you
You
close
can
enough
get
that a contractor should be able to go out and find it.
Yeah, yep.
And this 45-minute trek, how much did it cost?
What is this?
89.
$336.16.
That's well worth having documentation of it.
Yeah, because there's multiple flights. We can't do one 45-minute flight with those. So there's multiple flights where we'll put in a leg. We know it's about probably a 15 to 20 minute flight. We'll drop it, put another battery in, and go. We have 4 batteries ready to do it. So if we can get up to an hour of flight time, it's just planning on where that drone's gonna wanna drop, when it, you know, what the wind's doing that day. We can fly up to 25-mile-an-hour winds. It's not something we want to do. We try to do it early in the morning. The issue about early in the morning, you have a lot of shadows.
So would this be something that you would do not only for brush and weed control and looking at the ditches, but if we have a work order come in, if there's a concern somewhere, or if we have any, large projects that are engineered projects like before, during, after?
That's what we envision, even with, so our next step is we want to talk with Pix 4D, and, or what's the other one? Drone deploy. Pix 4D is a lot more powerful. Obviously, it costs a little bit more money. But we feel like Pix 4D may be a product that we can transfer a lot of those, maybe a pre-flight or a like pre-construction. We can transfer that to your contractor or your engineer, because we have RTK on this, where they're actually getting ground control on it. So we can give them a 3D rendered model and say, here's your your current build, your pre-built, and then do an as-built too.
You're ready for drainage hearings too. I mean, if you have issues with to bring people to show them what's going on.
For your work order system, that, like, if we go with them, it'll have a lat long. We can hit that lat long, pinpoint it, send it out, take pictures of it. Very easily and verify it for you.
The nice thing about it is you would, some of that technology, if you don't use it, you kind of lose it. So this would give you a refresher course all the time.
How quick would your turnaround be if we got a work order in before you guys would be able to go out?
Depending on the time of year, probably the same day, probably try to get out there, depending on the weather, obviously. We just need to know what the work order is, where it's at, and set it up like that. And obviously, the best thing that we can do is put a lat long on it, where he can put it on the map and send it out and go and take pictures. Then if we need to go out there and have it fly right to that spot, and then we can take control of it, do some lower hovering, try to take more pictures, and then send it back to us.
Yeah, that is neat.
Yeah. I say we keep pursuing it.
Yeah.
You need a motion to approve that bill then, Dean, or you want?
Yeah, well, yeah, I wanted it, before the public, in session, so that we could put it in minutes. I mean, because these will require minutes entry on each one of these drainage districts to justify what the bill is. So
we've created it,
am I saying that correctly?
It doesn't necessarily have to be a motion to approve that bill specifically, just I would say a motion to approve secondary roads to continue to do this work and.
Billing
working with
the drainage.
Board and drainage district.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just so when it comes time that I have to start assessing the districts.
There's a documentation.
Documentation, if the landowners come in, I can say, this was discussed on this day, they approved to do this flying of the ditches. So forth.
And so we've created a Teams file. Courtney's on that Teams file, I'm on that Teams file, Marcus is on that, Dean's on that Teams file. We can add all the board, excuse me. Sorry. Oh, we can add whoever else needs to be on it. Full auditor's office if they need to see it, and we'll just keep adding videos to it. And we identify it obviously as the drainage district from there to there, so.
And, maybe this is something to think about later on. I know with that GD9 that you just showed, with that being a very large file like that, is this something that we would want to put out on the website for the landowners to look at? Because some of them may not have the capability of going out and checking their ditch and everything.
That's a good point. That's a great point.
Absentee landowners or educating them on what drainage district is.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a little PR in it, that's good.
Good.
Nice job.
So,
I guess I'd make a motion to continue with secondary roads to work with the drainage clerk on
find the drone for
and
videos.
maybe tweaking out some of the the longitude, latitude.
And as we continue to build, I'm not saying we're gonna buy another one, but we can always add a drone to the fleet and keep doing, you know, EMS has had a drone before. If she wants to keep going with that, she can add a drone, we can fly it for her, and then use it 2 ways.
I'd second that.
I think she has one, I don't know.
I have it.
You have it, yeah.
So I have a motion and a second to, continue to work with secondary roads, flying the drone for video of the, drainage ditches and, other drainage, work order issues. Does that cover it? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Item number 12, consider going into closed session pursuant to Iowa Code Chapter 21.51 Juliet to discuss the purchase or sale of particular real estate only where premature disclosure could be reasonably expected to increase the governmental body would have to pay for that property or reduce the price the governmental body would receive for that property. I would make a motion to closed session pursuant to Iowa Code Chapter 21.51 Juliet.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to go into closed session. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. I'll get that back up to you.
Yeah, we couldn't get a hold of it, couldn't get everybody. And then what we did was just.
Okay, have a good day.
Hey,
Hope your leg gets better.
Yeah,
See you
me
next-
too.
What did they say you got bit by?
Are we still in session?
Well, we're going in close session.
Are we in a public?
No,
So
well, we're adjourned for a little bit till Marshall's back.
yeah, he's in it.
Well, if it's not recording, I'll share.
Uh,
Yeah, you don't want to.
No, I don't, it's.
Okay, we are back in the open session. Go
I
ahead.
make a motion to go with Plan A as discussed in closed session.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to proceed with Plan A as discussed in closed section. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. New business, agribusiness.
Yes, I talked to Heather on that. That it's gonna change every year, up or down a little bit. And she was okay with that, so if we're gonna get that drawn up, that'd be great.
Okay. Eric, this is for the agribusiness park lease. We're gonna base the cash rent on the Iowa State University cash rental rate survey, which changes every year. For 24 crop year, it will be $232 an acre.
It'll be 54 acres.
Yeah, on 54 acres. And it'll be a 3-year lease. Right, we were allowed to do that, right, up to 3 years, yeah,
And are you gonna put mowing of the
yep.
maintenance portion?
All, yes. Everything but what the county takes care of right now.
So mowing of the ditches and maintenance of the fence line,
And as far as the ditch is a state ditch.
right. Highway 17.
Yes.
Oh, you don't want the prestige?
No, the county usually takes care of that, don't you?
Not the whole thing. I don't think. We
No.
took care of
'Cause-
spot point of it, but
Yeah.
Yeah, There's-
mainly at any other ditch that we would take care of.
right, and there are manholes in that
No,
ditch.
he hasn't mowed that part.
No,
It's gonna
I
be
know,
the
but-
same. as
Highway
what-
17 is
Yeah.
the main one. Yeah, the other one is kind of, we use the little wing.
Yeah, 'cause
He took hay off the 17 road. They bailed that, that's why it looks like.
So,
Oh, we actually built it?
yeah. So, I just, and we own the property, because we have parcels against both 17 and against the Prestige Road.
Well, you sold that.
And, no, we
No.
own, because of the covenants.
There's a strip right there.
That's correct.
Oh, okay.
Cause there's manholes in that ditch.
Yes,
Yeah,
there are.
there are, and I think you guys talked last week about getting some dirt
Yeah,
and
We are
trying
going
to
to,
level those out so that they're not dangerous for like snowmobilers or whatever else.
yes,
Once they're done with this bridge, they're gonna move to cleaning ditches.
Okay,
and I got with Adam on that as far as take care of some of that areas.
I think, did you want it to be state brush and weed control on the fence lines?
Yes. Other than that, it would be the same address, the same tenant. And when do you wanna have that on the agenda? Are we celebrating the Columbus Day, or we don't do that?
I'm gonna do that one.
So we'll have a meeting on Monday the night.
So maybe,
You want to do that on the 16th?
yeah, I'd say 2 weeks out.
Does that work for you, Eric?
Are you back on the 16th?
Yeah, I'm just gone for 3 days.
Oh, okay.
So will you put the agribusiness park lease approval on October 16th? Agenda, excuse me. Anything else, meetings?
I had DCAT, not really happy with Berry Hill on the mental health in schools, but they are going to work with Iowa Specialty Hospitals. And the dollars that DCAT funds to Berry Hill can be spent with Iowa Specialty Hospitals for counseling, so they're working to get another counselor in Eagleville right now. So I feel like they have not hired one, but at least Iowa Specialty can do that, and we're dealing with someone local versus Berry Hill. So what's the progress there?
I just had a normal meeting.
Right.
Other than that, nothing.
I had Midas on Wednesday. They have received 5 applications for their planner. Excuse me, 3 applications for their planner positions. They have 2 planner positions open. And also 2 interns, I think.
You're good.
And so there was discussion about those. They still had 1 interview to do. They had done the other 2 interviews, so that looked hopeful to me. And then I had CFR on Thursday, but I was in the combine, so I did not attend that meeting.
Dean, we had mice come up and transit here in Clarion.
You bet. I came for the, transit.
Yeah.
Excuse me, okay.
Kelly Mayhem came up and talked to the senior citizens here in Clarion to promote transit within Wright County.
Excellent. And I did attend the, the comprehensive plan thing, so. I got here late, but I was there for it. Anything else?
Motion adjourned.
So
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
So we're looking either Thursday or Friday, then we'll have a special, a morning meeting.
yeah.